You saw the knockout. You saw Anthony Joshua deliver a brutal, career-defining blow in the 6th round. But what you didn't see, what wasn't immediately apparent to anyone watching that night, was the sheer, horrific extent of the damage. This wasn't just a loss for Jake Paul. This was a catastrophic injury that has rocked the boxing world, an injury that could very well end his career as we know it. We are talking about a double broken jaw, a jaw shattered in 2 places, requiring emergency surgery and titanium plates. And Jake Paul himself just confirmed it, releasing images that are frankly hard to look at. Let's go back to that moment. Round 6. Anthony Joshua, after absorbing some early pressure, found his rhythm. He stalked Jake Paul across the ring, delivering a combination that seemed to come out of nowhere, a right hook followed by a devastating uppercut. Jake Paul went down, and for a moment the arena erupted. But beneath the roar, something far more serious was happening inside Jake Paul's head, inside his very jaw. He tried to get up, he was clearly dazed. The referee waved it off. The fight was over. Joshua had secured a dominant victory. But in the chaos, in the celebration, nobody, not the commentators, not the doctors at ringside, and certainly not Jake Paul himself, realized the full, devastating extent of the trauma his jaw had just endured. Initial reports were vague. Bruising, swelling, a concussion. Standard boxing injuries. But as the adrenaline wore off, as the hours passed, the pain intensified and the reality set in. This wasn't just a bruise. This was something far more severe. Just hours ago, Jake Paul took to Instagram, bravely sharing the brutal truth with his 25 million followers. He posted an X-ray revealing not 1, but 2 clean breaks in his mandible, a double mandibular fracture. For those unfamiliar with medical terms, that means his jawbone was shattered in 2 distinct places. He captioned it, "Not the fight I wanted, but the price I paid. Surgery tomorrow, titanium plates." Be back stronger, strong words, but the image tells a different story of immense pain and a long road to recovery. The implications are immediate and severe. This isn't a sprained ankle. This is an injury that directly impacts his ability to eat, to speak, and most critically, to take another punch. Think about that for a second. The very tool a boxer uses to absorb punishment, his jaw, has been fundamentally compromised. Jake Paul underwent emergency surgery. We've learned that surgeons had to install titanium plates and screws to fuse the shattered pieces of his jaw back together. This isn't a quick fix. Recovery from such an invasive procedure is grueling. We are talking about weeks, if not months, of a liquid diet, his jaw potentially wired shut, and an excruciatingly slow rehabilitation process. The earliest he could even think about light training again is likely 3 to 6 months, and even then he'll be incredibly vulnerable. This isn't just about physical recovery, it's about mental fortitude. Imagine stepping back into the ring, knowing that the very foundation of your face has been compromised. Knowing that one wrong punch, one powerful impact, could shatter those plates or worse, cause irreparable damage. The shocking thing is, Jake Paul didn't immediately realize the full extent of his injury. Why? Adrenaline. In the heat of the moment, the body releases a cascade of powerful hormones that dull pain. He likely felt the impact, he felt dazed, but the excruciating, bone-on-bone pain of a double fracture might have been masked by the sheer intensity of the fight and the knockout itself. It was only as the adrenaline subsided, as the doctors examined him more closely, that the grim reality became undeniable. Professional boxing punches carry immense force. We often hear about concussions, but a shattered jaw is a different beast entirely. It's a direct, physical breakdown of the body's structure, a stark reminder of the brutal realities of this sport. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Can Jake Paul ever truly return to the highest levels of boxing after a double broken jaw? While fighters have come back from severe injuries, a compromised jaw is uniquely challenging. It's not just about the bone healing, it's about the psychological barrier. Every time he takes a jab, every time he's forced onto the ropes, he'll be thinking about that titanium, about the fragility of his face. Opponents will know, they will target that area, they will know his vulnerability. For a fighter who relies heavily on his chin, on his ability to stand and trade, this injury fundamentally changes who he is as a boxer. It's not impossible to return, but it will be an uphill battle, perhaps the toughest fight of his career, and it won't be in the ring.